Dienstag ist Dilemmatag. It's Kaiser here, and in this Star Trek CCG First Edition Dilemma Strategy video, you will find a spoiler of a brand new virtual card. If you watched Trek CC yesterday, you might have seen the announcement of a brand new virtual set called Second Star to the Right, which will release in about 2 weeks, and it will focus on the classic films period, that is, the motion picture until Star Trek VI The Undiscovered Country, which is why we will also focus on cards from that era this week and the next on our little dilemma show here. So let's have a look. We have a superstar team including Kirk and all the heroes from the movies era aboard the HMS Bounty in orbit around the home planet Earth, and you might think that with all these superstars, including non-aligned Marcia, we should have a good chance of beating any and all dilemmas we will find. So let's beam them down and encounter the first one. It is entertaining display. You might have seen this before on the show. Opponent may download up to 2 females to planet. They download Savick, who would fit nicely in with our crew, and the Intendant. And then our opponent immediately proceeds to suspend play with the Intendant to download Assassination Plot. This one simply says, name a skill, our opponent names Anthropology, kill an opposing personnel of random selection with that skill present with your assassin. The only Anthropology we'll find on all these guys is Marcia, so she is randomly selected to be killed, discarded, as is Assassination Plot, and then the Intendant returns to our opponent's hand. At this point we wouldn't even be able to solve the mission because we would have to have more Anthropology than our opponent has females present, and clearly we don't have any Anthropology left, while our opponent has 1 female, so that would stop us anyway. But the dilemma itself doesn't stop us, so we get to see the next one. And this is, hang on, Barber Pole? No, that's just a placeholder for the new card, and that is Nuclear Vessels. Let's have a look. It's a planet-only dilemma, and it shows the scene where Chekhov and Uhura are trying to find the location of said vessels here. It says place on planet. Now and start of each attempt here cannot get past unless 1 security or Anthropology is stopped. Random selection, and it's unique as well. So that means we now have to stop an Anthropology, which we can't, but we still have a security, and that is on Chekhov. He's the only security at this point, so we can actually stop him, and that means we have already beaten this dilemma. However, it sticks around for future attempts as well. So let's have a look at the last dilemma here. That's Standoff. To get past requires 3 Anthropology or 3 personnel with security classification. Clearly we are all out of security and anthropology at this point, so we cannot get past. And even Chekhov with his security won't be any use here because it asks for security classification. Security in the skill box here doesn't do the job. So what do we do? To get through, we need to have 3 security classification or 3 Anthropology, and with Nuclear Vessels, 1 of them will be stopped. So we better make sure that we have enough of these guys. So let's bring in some reinforcements. The Starship Excelsior tries to save the day, bringing in Tobiaston with Anthropology, Elia with Anthropology, and 3 security classification people, 2 copies of Talio and 1 DC Franklin. And the idea is that maybe 1 of the Anthropologies will be selected by Nuclear Vessels, then we would still have 3 security personnel left that can do the job against the Standoff. However, if 1 of them is selected, then we are out of luck. But still, we could take our chances here. What's the worst? We could simply be stopped. So let's beam them all down. And just as we want to announce a new mission attempt, our opponent says, hang on, I'm going to suspend play to special download Kobayashi Maru scenario. So Kobayashi Maru scenario is now placed on the mission, and it says adds computer skill to mission requirements. At start of each mission attempt here, 1 attempting personnel is placed beneath this incident, and we only get them back once we solve the mission. So that makes things even more tricky here, because even before we get to the Nuclear Vessels, 1 of our personnel will be randomly selected and will be put under the mission. Not just stopped, we will lose them. So if we attempt now and just take the gamble and hope that the right personnel will get through, we might end up cutting away at our own resources. So in order now to make sure that we can walk through the mission, we need either 5 anthropology or 5 security classification, so that if one of them goes away with Kobayashi Maru and one of them goes away or is stopped with the nuclear vessels, we would still have 3 left. Or also 3 of one and 4 of the other would be enough. That no matter which combination is stopped or put under the mission, we will still have 3 left. So if you feel confident that you have enough bodies that the random selection will play out in your favor, you can of course try it without making absolutely sure. But of course you risk being stopped for yet another turn and gradually losing more personnel. So the best way really is to wait until you have enough, and that can take some time. So you might be better off running to a different mission in the meantime. Let's just say we feel lucky and we send all of our crew on the attempt here. Let's just shuffle them and take one for the Kobayashi Maru. That's an anthropology. And then we need to stop an anthropology or security. Let's just take personnel until we get one of them. That's not one. That's not one. That's not one either. Hang on. What about this one? This one. And here we've got a security. So he goes under the mission. He is stopped. So in our remaining crew, we'll find that we have 1 security classification, 1 security classification, but a 3rd security only as a skill. And we don't have the 2 anthropology left. So in this case, the gamble clearly backfired and we have lost an anthropology, and we need to hope that we will find more anthropology and security for the following turns. So not necessarily a combo that will win the game on its own for you. You can walk through with the right personnel. For example, Borg will have an easy time against this. Hydrogen can just copy the anthropology with all the guys. But against other crews, it can buy you some time, and with nuclear vessels, I think a lot of fun can be had. That's all I've got for this week. If you like this show at all, please subscribe to this channel and make sure to tune in next week as well for another spoiler. And thanks to CCG for providing these. Until next time, bye bye.